What is up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about drop bags. Now, we are about 2 days away from our first ultra marathon of the season, and that is the 55-mile ultra marathon, the M to M. We're going from Manchester, New Hampshire, running 45 miles on the road, and then going to summit up a local mountain, which has about 3,000 feet of elevation gain, and then running down it and ending at the park headquarters. Now, how I like to set up my drop bags is if the aid station was pretty much just, a jar of water or like a bucket of water, I can make my way through it because I'll have the fuel in my actual drop bag. Now, this is a little bit less than what I would normally pack for like a 100-miler or a 100K because I wanted to be a little bit more tactical. There was a lot of times in the Grindstone 100 where I had a lot of this stuff that I didn't need. And typically what I will do for 100-milers or 100Ks is I will overpack just in case, if I'm having a really rough day and I'm going to be out there a lot longer than I think, I want enough food and enough fuel to actually make my way through, because it's more of a time thing than a distance thing. And if you're out there for so long and the only thing you're eating is this, your stomach will not agree with it, or most people's stomachs will not agree with it. So switching up those fuel types really helps in those longer distances. But for this one, for the 55 miles, I want to be a little bit more tactical. So I'm keeping everything pretty simple. Starting off with the drop bags. This is a very simple thing. This is a little trick that we used to do in the military just to further weatherproof Ziploc bags. So this is just a Ziploc bag, and then you take duct tape and you wrap it around, and it kind of fortifies the bag, and you actually can make a little handle. That's just for the crew to be able to carry them a little bit easier once you start filling these up. Now, this is super cheap also. You get 50 of these bags for about, $5 to $10, and then the duct tape's like $2 a roll. So this is something that is very cheap and it works. I use this in Ranger School. I use this all through the military just to keep things nice and waterproof, our maps and our documents and everything when we're out on mission or out in training. I also take really bright colors so they stand out in the pile of actual drop bags, so you can immediately just grab whatever you need. So this is what I'm going to be using for the first 4 aid stations. There's 5 aid stations total, and then on the last one, before we go up the actual summit of the mountain, I will have one of these waterproof compression bags. So you pretty much just fill it up what you want, roll this up, and then it compresses so it won't take up extra space. So this is the one that's going to be right before the summit of the mountain. But starting off with nutrition, so what I've been training with is these Cleft blocks and also the GU gels. I'm going to take these blocks just because they settle in my stomach a little bit better. And they're cleaner. So one of the big problems I've had with the GU gels, you suck them down, and then there's always like a little bit left, and then you stuff them in your pocket again, and then that little bit of left, it just squirts out, and then you have a sticky mess all over your kit, all over your body, and it actually causes a little bit of chafing. So that was so freaking annoying that I'd rather just do these blocks rather than the gels. And these blocks are really good because they're really small, and this has 200 calories per pack. So you just take 3 at a time every 30 minutes or every 45 minutes, however your sweat rate is or whatever your nutritional needs are. And this is basically good for an hour of running for me on the hard food. That also leads into the extra calories that I'll be taking in, and that's through these honey stinger waffles. These honey stinger waffles are awesome also because they're 160 calories, really easy to eat. Just drink some water with them because they can get a little dry. You kind of have to choke them down. But this is something that is really light and you can keep in your pack with you. So I'll be taking one of these probably every 2 hours just to add to the calorie intake. So my calories are going to be coming from these blocks, probably one every 30 minutes to 45 minutes. 100 calories from this, and the main calorie source is going to be from the Tailwind. So I picked up these little guys, these little test tubes. They were like $5 for 50, and it fits 2 scoops of Tailwind perfectly. So my thought process was, this is pretty much going to be a speed loader, a speed loader for the actual Tailwind. So this has 2 scoops in it. That's 200 calories. Basically, when you need it, just put it in. It fits in perfectly, and you have your 2 scoops, put in the water, and that's 200 calories in each bottle from the drop bag. So my intake, what it will end up being, will be every hour I'll have 2 scoops of Tailwind, 200 calories, 1 block, which is 100 calories, so that's around 300 calories, and then for supplement, every 2 hours will be 160 calories. I might, that's a lot. So I kind of push a lot of calories into my system because I know I'm not always gonna remember, or I might be distracted and miss out with a block, or miss out with one of these, or not get all my fluid in. But if I'm overshooting it just by a little bit, it's better than undershooting it by a lot. Basically, your body can take in around 250 to 300 calories an hour. So I'm trying to stay around that 300 calories for this whole race. Hopefully I'll only be out there for around 10 hours. So that's what I'm planning on. But trying to get in those 300 calories, mostly from liquid, because I am such a heavy sweater, is going to be key for me. And then moving on to the salt. So I have these little packets that I made. Also, these little guys are the salt sticks. I'll take 2 of these every hour, just to get the good sodium, so your body can utilize and absorb the actual hydration that you're taking in, the clean water, and regulate that properly with the salt. And then for 2 of these, which are going to be on the third aid station, and the one right before the actual summit, I'm going to have some Tylenol extra strength 500 milligrams, so 1,000 milligrams each. That is just in case. I'm not going to take those just precautionary. I'm only going to take those when I need them. I very rarely take Tylenol anymore, just because if I need it, I want it to really hit the system. It's basically like if you don't drink your coffee for a couple of weeks and then you drink some caffeine, you can really feel your system taking that in. And it's kind of the same way with Tylenol. So I don't take it a lot, but when I need it, I always have it in my actual pouch. So hopefully I won't need to take it, but if I do, it'll be at the very end of the actual race. Speaking of the end of the race, these shoes, the Olympus 4s, are going to be in this bag at the summit of the actual mountain, because I'm going to attempt, if I can, and the bag goes to the right place, is change out my shoes, my road shoes, to these Olympus 4s, so I have that good grip. I actually have some grip and able to climb up that mountain a lot easier. And with these Olympus 4s are great. I was just doing my last long run last week, and I was hopping back and forth on wet rocks with these, and they stuck to them. I was like Spider-Man. So these shoes are definitely, I would definitely recommend these shoes on really slick rocks and mountain trails like that, technical mountain trails like that. I'm also going to have a pair of socks with these shoes just in case, or I typically don't change my socks or my shoes during these ultra marathons. That's something that I did and didn't do in the military. I figured out in the military, just because basically when you're working really hard or you're on these trails, your shoes are going to get wet no matter what. So you change your shoes and they're just going to get wet. It's morely about like your maintenance of your feet. So if you're starting to get blisters, if you need to use moleskin, you need to use baby powder and everything like that, you do that. You prioritize maintenance in that fashion, rather than having 8 pairs of shoes out there or 16 pairs of socks. It's morely about your foot maintenance rather than changing your shoes. That is part of it. It's just personally, I think it's a waste of time just because your feet are gonna instantly get wet within the next 30 minutes to an hour. So it's almost a waste of time. Um, Another thing about maintenance that I'll have is the body glide. The body glide, it is God for the body though, because there is so much chafing that goes on, especially when you're climbing up those mountains. Everything's rubbing so hard. In the 100 miler, I know if you watch some of my other videos on the 100 miler, my booty cheeks were on fire because I did not use this, and that was a terrible mistake. So pretty much all your hot spots, you think about all your hot spots when you're running, those things are going to chafe after you've been running for 33 hours, 24 hours, however long you're going to be running. Hopefully I'm going to be only out there for about 10 hours. But even within that amount of time, you could get some serious chafing. So you want to hit those hot spots under your armpits, on your tricep, your thighs, your booty crack, and everything like that. It is good to have 2 of these though if you are applying this to your booty crack, because you don't want to be spreading that booty crack stuff to the other parts of your body. But that's a story for another video. I don't want to talk about that. Anyways, and then the last thing that I will have in my summit bag is going to be the trekking poles. So when I did, and this is why on the last video that I posted, the map recon or the trail recon is so important, because I did realize that these will come in handy so much, just because how steep and wet and slick those actual rocks are on that trail. So I definitely want to try to pick up my trekking poles. I'm gonna go by feel, because I did do that run. Without trekking poles, but it would have been a lot more helpful if I did have these. So I might pick these up and I might not. I'm going to have them in my bag just in case. If my legs are absolutely trash, which they probably will be, I will pick these up, just because you can lean forward and you can engage your core, you can engage your legs a little bit differently with these trekking poles. And then going down, you can stabilize a lot better with trekking poles while running downhill. So that is definitely something that I will keep in mind when I'm coming up to that last aid station. So that's basically it. I mean, we're not going crazy with these drop bags. We're just going to have the blocks for fuel and make sure that we're prioritizing this Tailwind. That's where the majority of my actual calories are going to come in. So the fuel and the actual change up to the summit are the really big things that I want to have. I'm also going to have these 2 bottles just in case I, pop a leak or anything. I'll have these in a couple of these bags just in case I need to swap them out or anything like that. But there it is. I mean, it's a pretty simple drop bag loadout. It's really just to get those calories in, make sure that I have enough fuel for this whole race. But I don't want to overthink it. I don't want to over prepare. I don't want to have like a big bag and just be digging through it and trying to find what I need. I just want to grab what I need to grab, stuff it into my bag, fill up my bottles, and then keep going. Even if I don't have what I need, if I have to scramble through the aid station and find whatever I can to stuff it in my face, I'm gonna make it. If it's not a result of energy, we're gonna figure it out. You have to know how to adapt, overcome, and figure out any problem that you come out to these trail. And this is just something that has to do with anything in fitness, anything in life. You have to adapt and overcome. So we can prepare all this crap, can have all the bags and all the plans we want, but if something happens, if there's no bags, if there's no water, there's no nothing, we're gonna have to figure it out. All right, that's how we become freaking monsters. You just roll with the punches, you adapt, overcome, and let's crush this freaking ultramarathon. Like, subscribe, follow my freaking channel, because I'm at a lot more races this season. I got another 50 miler, a nighttime 50 miler next month. I have a 24-hour race where I'm just going up and down a single track mountain over and over again for 24 hours. And then I have a 100 miler. So like and subscribe this channel, follow my journey as we build up to the 100 miler, another 100 miler, and let's become average savages together. Let's go, let's do it.